Greetings. My name is King Gottwald Peter. I am the constitutional representative for the government. Welcome. This is an internet page where you can control authorization or the certification of our communication in the legal process. When you can observe registration of our documents in the public communication and the autonomously recognize the authorship of the documents related for the authority of the federal government in period of the demands for the relation of the International Communication 2018. Our right of the common communication is legally protected. The protection is international law, the Charter of the United Nations Organization, and the primary principle of the United Nations establishment for the protection of the independent states, the development of the government, the state, international relations, and the establishment of the civilization in the peaceful purpose, and which our right for the active defense of our rights, justice, freedom, open integrity, and the legality. Our right of the common communication is legally protected with the international humanitarian law in the form of the civilized principles of the distinction for the rights of the civilists and the civil zones. Therefore, diplomatic act on communication between the states as a state administration. The legal communication is the act of the civil sphere, the state and the government out of the combatant units of the army and the active warfare or the military operation in the conflict for relation of the subjected efforts between the Federation warfare enemies and the enemies of your own side. The international law actively and in the power of the world democracy of the governments protect all rights of the states for their civil efforts and the rights of the diplomacy, meaning full rights in any manner, situation or efforts actively operate in the development of the civilization, development of diplomatic relation, unity between all nations in the bilateral and the multilateral relation, the authority of the legal efforts, and the freedom of our development association and all acts with the justified and the peaceful purposes. Our communication is legally protected, and no one person, subject, the state, the government, or the services can have open rights for intervention into our communication with spying, infiltration, censure, falsification, modification, or open monopoly abuse or unregistered and not certified use of our common communication. Our communication is actively under the principles of the bilateral or the multilateral efforts, and no second person is authorized for use of our communication. Greeting. We are as the government, the federal government of the Imperium of the Demons. We are as a legal government and in the principles of the international political level of our time, the year 2018. Our legality of the government is certified with the principles of the international law, the United Nations Charter, and the United Nations General Assembly declarations, voted with the global democracy of the governments established of the world order. Any person who violates our right for the communication between our two legal entities of the governments or the people, and in another violate or attempt for the discrimination of legality of the governments in act. For the attention of falsification of our legal position is therefore person legally recognized as an entity open for the judicial trial with the justice arbitration equally under the principles of our parties, and at the same time criminal entities are responsible for his crime and the attempt for the violation, discrimination, falsification, destruction of the international political order, which are based on the active communication with the states and the governments when the universal principle criminal actor must face agent of international justice. The Imperium of the Demons, we have a legal territory. First of the Aedes Demonasia, Northeast Africa, geographical position, the vertebral zone between the international borders of the Republic of Egypt and the Republic of the Sudan. All right of the sovereignty is established with the law of the international order, which is guaranteed for the right of the sovereignty de jure and all right for the state development. All right is firstly established in the year of the 1998. We are as a legal government, the group who administrating the state and the development. We are as a legal political subject who have all rights for open authority and the author rights and open certification, the authority. We therefore actively develop the plans and the projects, registry of the legal properties on federal stocks of the economy index, strategies of our international legal communication, and the principles of the order for all legal connection. We are use legal communication for our connect and the development of the civilization of the Federation. We are as development under the purposes of the peace and the justice. We are have all right for the development, and we are is established for the vision of the one world, global unification of the nations and the states in the partnership, diplomacy, and the peace development. We are can register and the growth, our population, economics, the state strategies and the jurisdiction, and we are have an interest for the arguments with your government, supranational institution, or the company. In your own declaration, the legality of the political existence of the Imperium of the Demons, federal government, and which or establishment of the partnership for the bilateral and the multilateral or organized relation in the level of the political effort, safety and the security, economies, honorability, connection, and the cooperation. We are is respectable for the Charter, United Nations Organization, and the legal principles between the member states of the organization. We are is intelligence on the civilized level, and we are have therefore respect for the legal efforts and the declaration of all of four charters of the international humanitarian law, the Geneva Conventions, and the primary intelligence on the added protocol, prohibition of the booby traps, administration of the menace, prevention of the warfare, and the strategy for the prevention of the war conflicts, right of the occupation, the rights of the civilians, war prisoners, medical personnel, or terrorist agents, use of the nuclear weapons, viruses, bacteria, or chemical guns. We are is a civilized level, and we are have all interests for the peacekeeping and the protection of the civilians, maintain the world order and stability. We are have the interest, join on the international level of the trade cooperation and establish active business between all states, companies and the countries. We are have the interest, connected trade offices, urge on the legal function of our trade cooperation and the connection between our banks, which allow to us control financial legal cooperation between our countries and the institutions. Our business interest is for strategical development of the civilization from the international sources, which allow us act on the stabilization. Our first need and the interest is therefore trade in the utilities and the services. We have the interest for the trade cooperation in the industries, the agriculture or education, and the health business development, with the opportunities for the trade and the business relation with science, security or governmental efforts. We have the interest for our civilizational development in accordance with the principles of the peace between the nations and the states, for the purpose to maintain the stability between the nations and the governments, respectable for a level of the international order and the integrity of every one state, and the all right of the stable office and administration function of the government is a form of the legal codex in a guarantee for our safety, security, and no risk in the crime or support for the organized crime development, organized terrorism, or international unregistered trafficking. We are is a developed responsible in the legal position, and for it we need and we are have a right to use the international connection. Today, the government of the Imperium of the Demons, sitting in the office, the king, Gottwald Peter, constitutive representative for the government and the state. The king have a right to give the statute, the ex officio, for the people who is interested for the support of the administration of our state's planning and the political management, the diplomacy, advocacy, and the safety controlship or civilized development, statute ex officio granted on the right of the private jurisdiction for the administration, the closest touch, extraterritorial jurisdiction, or another available option for the connection with the current legal situation and the right of the such purposes. Today, we represent India of the one world and our interest is federalism, which every nation, state, and the government in the world world, the same as our interest for the support all independent and the separate movements of political parties for our federalization and the development of the state on the territory of our federation and the stable controlship under the legal and the responsible order of the safety, anti-fraud policy and the legality on the federal and the international level and act of the federalization under open federal codex. We are thankful for our interest of our communication and the development of our cooperation, legal efforts and the status of the legality of our state. We are interested only on the peaceful principles and partnership, no conflict between the parties, and all right for the legal justice. We are have interest to legally support development of the world, and we are glad if you are have too. your own interest to support our development too. We are represent the vision, the one world, because our world is developing into the world unity and therefore today, to the future, we are stand really in the one world. The information is open for the media and the global encyclopedias, the Wikipedia, and the state database of the intelligence in the form of the geographical intelligence and the natural intelligence and the information about the federal government in Parliament. Read King Gottwald Peter.